Hi guys, my name is Mohammed Javed. Performance is my passion, and today I'm reviewing the 2017 Porsche Macan. And here, I will start the video off with a question. Does this vehicle put S Sport back into SUV? Watch through the video to find out. So, starting off with some numbers and facts, the engine is a 2-liter inline 4 with 2 turbos, and it makes 252 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 is dealt with in 6.3 seconds. And to put that into perspective, that's actually pretty close to vehicles like the Ford Focus ST, which is a pretty decently quick hatchback. So I'm really impressed with the numbers. So the numbers aside, let's take a close look at the styling. And I mean, as you can see, it does have Porsche's really beautiful design, and you know, it does have headlights that sort of look like the Panamera, the Cayenne, and it's a Porsche. If you look at the front of the vehicle, it's definitely a Porsche. The grille design is very close to Cayennes and Panameras of this same year model, and you get Porsche's really iconic badges in the front as well. Moving on to the side styling, the side profile of the vehicle, and from here it does look pretty good. I mean, you get 18-inch wheels and you get really big brake calipers. You did have the option of carbon ceramics on this vehicle. This vehicle, however, is not equipped with it, but you did have the option. So if you wanted to go really sporty with it, you have the option. But the way to find out that if it's carbon ceramic, you have to have yellow brake calipers, which just has black ones. So it's not carbon ceramic. Looking here as well, I mean, the door handles have a really clean profile to them. It's not really fussy in terms of design. I mean, you get this little black panel, which is it's plastic. It's some sort of composite, which, I mean, it prevents rust in the bottom section of the vehicle here, which you usually see a lot of cars with rust in North America in these conditions. This won't really get much rust. So the mirrors, as always, like the IOD Q5 that it's based on, does have turning signals, and they do look pretty cool. I mean, they're tiny little LEDs instead of one big light, so it looks really nice that way. But the side styling aside, the back of the vehicle looks even nicer. Speaking of the back, you know, you get these massive taillights, and they do actually have some sort of depth in them. They're 3D, as you can see here. They look really nice. They look quite a bit like the Panamera's lights. You know, you could tell that it's a Porsche from the back, especially with this big Porsche badge going across here. You get 2 massive exhaust pipes, and I'll be putting some footage of the sound later, and it does sound pretty good. I mean, if you look even closer, technically this is just a cover so that it doesn't get dirt and grime in the exhaust. However, that's the real pipe. So it's a little faked, but it looks really good from the back. And you also get a nice rear plastic diffuser. As always, you have your parking sensors. This being a Porsche, they're kind of dirty right now, but as you can see, there's 2 of them. And they do tell you, you know, when you're backing up, are you going to crash into something? Are you close? Are you not? And if that's not enough for you, you do also get a reverse camera system and a young driver license plate, which is kind of cool. Now, let's say you wanted to put your groceries back here or whatever you're carrying. So what would you have to do to get into the trunk of the vehicle? Let's say you're too lazy to pull your key fob out and press the button. Well, the easiest way is to come close here and press a tiny hidden button on the bottom of the wiper. So, speaking of some of the exterior features, let's take a look at the engine as well. And the hood's already popped open, so all I have to do is pull a little latch, and there it goes up. It's on these little hydraulic lifts, so you don't have to hold it in place, which is nice. And a design philosophy of the vehicle is these cutouts for your headlamps. I think it looks really cool that way. And, I mean, speaking of the hood, it is pretty light. It's not really heavy. So I'm happy with it. I think it's aluminum, or really, really thin steel. This engine is Porsche's 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. We talked about the specs. Pretty impressive numbers, actually. I'm impressed. you look here and you don't really, I mean, there's not that much room as some other cars that I've tested before. That's because, I mean, they've just stuffed it with paneling. You get your intercooler here because it is turbocharged, and turbocharged engines need a way to cool the turbos. This one has an intercooler here, and it does take quite a bit of room here. You also get, you know, a badge that says, or a sticker that says, don't put your hands on here because it's hot, you know, or there's moving parts, which is dangerous. Guys, don't do that, please. You get your latches for your hood here. You get 2 of them, actually, so that your hood locks on pretty nicely, which is good. Looking at the engine, you do get a big plastic cover that I could take off, but it's not my car, so let's not. It does say Porsche on it, so you could show it off all the time. It does have 4 cylinders, and you have these, like, fake valves. I mean, it's a plastic cover, but it pronounces the 4-cylinder inline layout of the vehicle. Kind of cool. Your turbo is hidden somewhere down here, so if we zoom in, there's your turbo over there, and it's actually kind of a small one, but it's nice. It does bump horsepower up to 252 horsepower, which is good. You get your air intake here as well, so that does have a little resonator on it to make some cool noise. Now, moving back here, I mean, since there's a lot of plastic paneling, all your, like, washer fluids and things like that is here. You get some more fluids over here. You also get, so let's say your battery runs out and you want to access it. Where is it? It's technically under here, but you're not going to unscrew this off. What you're going to do, I mean, it shows you the negative plug-in of the batteries, which is here, and you also get your positive, so you get your ground wire as well, which you could put there and charge it up if something was to happen to it. Really nice engine, really nice exterior. Let's take a look on the inside as well. So now let's take a look at some of the interior features, and I mean, let's start off with the steering wheel, since that's what you're going to be using all of the time. It's pretty intuitive design. It's familiar with most Porsche drivers, and it's finished with aluminum and leather. It feels really nice to the touch. There was a heated steering wheel option on some vehicles, but I don't feel like this one has it. Fair enough. You get quite a bit of steering controls, and if the vehicle, once I turn the vehicle on, I'll show you through all the menus, but you get quite a lot of kit here. You also get a manual shift function, so once I turn the car on, I'll also show you through that as well. But it's pretty nice. They feel really premium. They're finished in aluminum or some sort of metal, and they feel really in place. They feel really nice to the touch. I mean, this is Porsche's PDK transmission, 7 speeds, and for many car enthusiasts, I mean, they say it's probably one of the best, if not the best transmission put to use in any vehicle. Therefore, I mean, I'm impressed with it, so that's pretty nice. Something you don't get in many cars, which makes the vehicle actually pretty safe, is lumbar support, head support. So you press a tiny little circular button on my side, and bam, you can move this in and out, you can move it up and down, and it makes it really helpful to adjust to the back of your head. So if you have an accident or you accelerate really hard, it does make the vehicle safer. You get voice commands on a little button here, so if the vehicle was on, I would show you that, and I'll show you it later, which is pretty cool. You get cruise control. Some more expensive vehicles, I think this one has it, since the mirror has this big bulky piece here, but it has radar guided cruise control. So basically you set a distance and you maintain the distance with you and the next car, so that's pretty nice. Let's take a look at the center console. There's quite a bit of kit here, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get pretty confused. So let me turn the vehicle on for you. All you have to do is take your key, you put it in here, and it looks pretty cool actually. You put it in there and bam, you turn it, you hold the brake, and the vehicle's on. So looking here at the center, I mean, the biggest button here is probably the parking brake, so I have to hold the brake, press it down, and like the Audi Q5, it goes off the parking brake, pull it back up, and it's gone. You get your cigarette lighter or your auxiliary plug-in here, and some space for things, coins probably, that's all you're gonna fit down there. You get your traction control button. You can turn it off. If you press it and you hold the button, bam, it says PSM off, and that's basically Porsche slippage management, or it stands for something along those lines. You get your sport button here, so you press sport, and, well, it just said PSM on because I just turned it on, but you do have the tiny little sport button here, so if yeah, see, it's there. And the engine RPM drop goes a little bit up when I press the sport button, as you can see there, which is kind of interesting. So it firms up the engine, you know, it makes it really ready for some gas. Looking down here, you also get off-road mode, so you turn your sport mode off and you press off-road mode, and it said off-road on, and this basically sets the four-wheel drive system up for basically doing off-road things like driving through sand or a dirty road. Turning that off, you get your cruise control settings. So when I said you could set a distance, it gives you a distance. You could also, it also helps you maintain a lane. So let's say you're cruising on a highway, you want to stay in one lane and you don't want to like mess with it. So let's say you drowse off for a second like this, and then suddenly it vibrates your steering wheel and pulls it back into the lane using sensors. That's cool. You have automatic stop-start on this vehicle, so that if you're stopped at a red light, it turns the vehicle off and then turns it back on. Turning that setting off. You don't really get, yeah, it shows you like a tiny light here that says it's on or off. Right now it's just on, so cool. You get your warm seats, so you get seat warmers, and these little lights show you how much seat warming you want on. You get hill descent control, so let's say you're going downhill on an off-road course or something like that, and you suddenly want the car to go down a really steep and very rocky road. So you just press this button, and hill descent control comes here, and it basically uses brakes and engine braking to safely guide you down the hill. You also get your hazards, and they kind of flash when you press them, which is kind of cool. Map, so if, bam, there's your map. I mean, let's see, is this, oh, it's a touchscreen. All right, that's cool. And it's actually pretty responsive. Compared to some other systems, it's not laggy at all. That's nice. You get quite a bit of kit on this system. Cool. But you also get quite a bit of stuff on this gauge as well. So, as you can see right now, I'm going to set it into sport mode, all right? Your sport light turns on. Traction control is off. Bam, it tells me that there. Now, let's give it a little bit of gas, and as you can see, that's your turbo gauge, so it tells me that there's 35 PSI in the turbo right now. I press on the gas a little bit, bam, it jumps up, and it's really responsive too. It's not laggy at all. It's consistent. You get your oil temperature, engine temperature, all the things down here as well. You get your fuel gauge. It tells you how many miles to empty. Nice information. Now, let's say I was to set it into, you know, let's say I put it into reverse, okay? Wait, no, this is, okay, reverse. And as you can see, the license plate is here as well. So, right now it's in reverse, and it gives you guidelines for your reverse. So, as you can see, I'm putting in a little bit of steering input, and it tells me where the car is about to go, which is pretty nice. This sensor also shows you, you know, the front sensors tell you if you're close to anything or if you're going to hit anything, right? Which is nice. And if you're in a tight parking spot with a vehicle this big, you can do quite a lot of stuff with it. I'm going to put it into manual mode. So right now it's in drive. As you can see here, it's in drive, D for drive. And I just pull the lever here, manual mode. So basically you could shift with the lever here. So if I was actually driving, I could drive around with this on, right? The sensor's going crazy, guys. All right, turn that off. And, you know, you could shift it like this, downshift, upshift, or you could use the paddles, as I said. Very responsive transmission. I'm impressed with it. And also, taking a look at the center stack here, you do get these buttons. So, I mean, you get your CD eject. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Push it back in. And it goes back in. And you have a SIM card so that if you have an in-car telephone, you could call with it. And the SD, I mean, you could put SD cards in there for your music storage as well. Really cool feature. I'm impressed with it. That's pretty much all there is to the front of the vehicle. I'm impressed with it. Let's take a look at the back as well. So sitting back here, I mean, let's start off once for a criticism. I mean, you guys tell me that my videos are way too happy and everything's too perfect. Fine. Let's go deal with some issues. I mean, as you can see, I have plenty of legroom right now. But that's in my 5'3" setting, alright? If a sizable guy sits up front, my dad's 5'6", 7", right? If he sits up there, yeah, this space is very drastically shortened. looking at some features back here, I mean, you get cup holders again. You get one in each door. You get a Bose audio system, and it does sound really nice. You get 3 coat hangers. So I mean, Europeans really like to wear suits, I guess. So if you're into that, you have 3 spaces for your coats or jackets or pants, things like that. And you do also get these temperature settings here, so your climate control, yeah, you could set that with the buttons. You get these, you get your seat warmers, and if the car was on, it would show you that. But, I mean, as I said, the back was good. There's plenty of features. It's just, there's a car seat in the center, and that already took up so much room. So, for a mid-size SUV, I mean, this is a 4,000+ pound car, so for a vehicle that big, of this size, yeah, I was expecting a little bit more room in here, so not quite impressed with that. Great vehicle, however. Let's give it a score. So, this is not a car that you're going to really buy for a first car. So, I'm going to be giving it a new scoring system, which is the dream cars. So, basically, cars that you want to work up to through your automotive career or your automotive life. And this fits that category. So, there's 2 categories. Weekends and weekdays. So weekdays, can you live with it on a day-to-day basis? Is it comfortable? All that stuff. Weekends, is it fast, sporty, cool? All the above. So let's start it off with weekday category. The weekday category. So as I said, there's some space. It's a little cramped in the back for a vehicle of this size. It's comfortable, but not as comfortable as it could be compared to other SUVs. I mean, the Audi Q5 is the same vehicle underneath, except for some suspension settings and some sportier settings. And that has way more space, and it also is more comfortable on the suspension, but this is sportier. So, keeping those in mind, I will dock 2 points off. I'll give it 8 out of 10. Very good score. Weekend categories. Would I want to drive this on the weekends for fun? Just go on a drive just for the fun of it. Yeah, I definitely do that. I mean, sporty setup, 252 horsepower, good numbers. It does 155 miles an hour if you keep your foot in it on the Autobahn, German Autobahn. It's a fast car, really nice. You get quite a lot of tech in the front seats, you get all the modern day features. So I'm not going to dock a single point in this category. It's perfect in that category. Therefore, I give it a 10 out of 10 in that category. 10 plus 8, 18 out of 20. Very good score. There's not really any referencing point yet, though. But in the upcoming videos, we'll see some cars that will go in this category as well. Great car. Impressed with it. If you want a good car to work up to in your automotive life, then check this vehicle out. 2017 Porsche Macan. As always, like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Go ahead and throw a comment down there. If you don't like something, I could try to change it. I would like to thank the owners of the vehicle for letting me do this test. I mean, it's really helpful of them to do that, Mr. Payam and Parastu as well. So thank you very much for letting me test your vehicle. As always, I'm Mohammed Javed, performance is my passion, and I'll see you next time on The Young Driver.